Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to the Pretty Rich Teacher podcast. I'm so excited to chat with you all today. Today is a good one. This one is for any teacher who is looking to transition or has already transitioned. I want to talk all about layoffs, the budget cuts, the government shutdown, all that stuff. Okay. We're going to talk about budget cuts, shutdowns, layoffs, what you must know before transitioning into corporate. So I know that a lot of people are terrified of the job market. Um, you all have, not you all, but there are people who are genuinely concerned about what's happening in corporate or what's happening in the government or what's happening in corporate, period. And I really want to just kind of talk about it, what it is. And by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly what you need to know about all the things you hear about corporate. Okay. I feel like educators call corporate this big bad wolf. I have a teacher friend who her parents have convinced her that it is a dumb move to go into corporate when you have this safe job as a teacher. Okay. Let's talk about that. The safe job as a teacher. So we're gonna talk all about it. Corporate layoffs, what if the government shuts down, budget freezes. Oh, I've heard one of my friends went to corporate and then they got laid off, or one of my friends got into corporate and they didn't like their job, or one of my friends, or even other people commenting like, "Hey, I went into ed tech and they laid me off." Okay, and some people go back to teaching. Right? I talk about this in my podcast episode, How to Be Classroom Optional. I think me saying that it is a new terminology. I feel like I am literally being the change I wanted to see or being what I didn't even know existed. 'Cause I know a lot of teachers, it is not even fathomable to imagine going into a new career outside of the classroom. It's just easier to believe that you're safe in your classroom. Okay. But what ends up happening is you stay in teaching for stability. You think the classroom is stable. You think corporate risky. Okay. Some people even believe that layoffs are that they're failed. Like, oh, I couldn't imagine being laid off. Or some people are afraid, and this could be you. I'm talking to you all, whoever's resonating with this. People say, oh, I don't want to quit my job and then get a job and then get laid off and I have to come back. That's embarrassing. Right. I can see why it's embarrassing, but it's only embarrassing if you choose it to be embarrassing, number one. And two, the what I teach about being classroom optional is that you don't have to go back to the classroom. I talked about that in the episode. The only reason why people go back to the classroom, there's two reasons. One, because they want to. Two, because they have no other choice. They have no other way of bringing in income. Okay. But going back to the classroom is a choice. Some people say, "Oh, no, I had to go back to the cloud because you had no other choice." And I'm not saying it in a mean way, but that's why people go back to the classroom. They have no other choice or because they want to. I have clients who have gone back to the classroom or have gone into substitute teaching or have picked up a temporary sub position because they really did not want to be in the classroom, like in their formal position anymore. So they're being a sub. And honestly, I recommend it. Like if you are someone, and I won't go down the rabbit hole, but if you're someone who is that stressed in your job, quit your job and be a permanent sub or be a substitute teacher. But I want to really talk about the layoff piece. Some people even let it believe that they like really failed, like, oh, they laid me off. But I'm going to talk about like what actually is going down. Again, me who has been in corporate for 3+ years. I don't know whoever else is telling you why. I want y'all to normalize asking people more questions. When people give you advice, ask them more questions. Okay? Ask them questions. Because typically the people who got a job and got laid off, ask them how they got that job. Okay? This is also where like networking, like people rely on networking to get a job without learning the actual role skills. And this happens. One of my clients told me that in her position, someone else got hired just because they knew the founder's sister or something like that. And that girl was asking her for help. She's like, "Hey, can you help me? I've never done a kickoff call before. What's that? I've never done this." That's why in my program, that's why I added in my certification in my mentorship program because like I want my clients to know this role in and out. So that way, like not only are they knowing it in and out, but one, you'll have a certification that's going to teach you everything. But two, they also use that certification. All my clients who are in their role, sales and customer success, refer back to that portfolio. If you all don't know what I'm talking about, in my mentorship program, if you're first time listening to it, it goes over all the job duties in the role, and they use it for their first year of training and really lifelong. For because I packed 2 3 years of my experience in that portfolio, and people use that portfolio to get jobs and for their actual training. But going back to networking, people do get jobs because they know people, but those are the people who end up like, let's say they get laid off. How can you get a job without a referral, right? Networking does help. So I'm not telling y'all to not network, but like you don't want to put all your eggs in any one basket, right? So let's talk about that. Um, and let's talk about why people actually get laid off. So, but I just want to reiterate, if people are relying on one thing only, like that is why things are happening. Okay. Another thing, what people do is they get one job offer and they cling to it instead of like developing repeatable skills. So that's the people who like, oh, I worked for this company for so long and then they laid me off. And again, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to say anything of, oh, well, too bad, so sad, go get another job. It means like, feel your feelings. It does suck to get laid off. It does not happen. I'm going to tell y'all why people get laid off first off, but it is not, if that is what's holding you back from leaving, by the end of this episode, you're gonna figure out, you're gonna learn of how you don't need to use that as. And again, it's either be how I'm saying this. If you choose to stay in teaching, it's a choice, and I don't mean this in a mean way. Staying in teaching is a choice in 2025, and if it'll be 2026, and in the 2020s, it's a choice. All right, so let's talk about why layoffs actually happen. Now, I have survived layoffs for the time I've been here, but layoffs have happened at my companies. Okay. There are 3 reasons why layoffs happen. Okay. But I want to talk about the budget cut. So budget cuts do happen. So if people are asking me, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get laid off, you might. You might. The government is shut down right now. Okay. Corporate is not a magical land of guaranteed money. However, teaching is not safer. So let's go over 3 reasons why people get laid off in corporate. Number 1, budget cuts. Budget cuts are reasons why, and you cannot control that. Big companies, little companies, medium companies, green companies, pink companies, green companies. I said green already. Red companies, white companies, blue companies, all companies can have budget cuts. Every single a business is all about ensuring success, which means if they need to cut some things off of their docket to run their business, that's what they're going to do. So I want y'all to like know, like when you're going to work from a classroom to a corporate, you are going to work for a business. You are going to work for a business. Okay. Corporate is a business. They're companies that are either for profit or nonprofit, but most corporate are for profit companies. So they are for profit. They're not for you. They are only for you if you're bringing them profit. Now, this does not mean that you should be scared of corporate. My goal is not to scare you. My goal is the actual opposite. Okay. But just know that that's what happens. So people get laid off sometimes due to budget. And it doesn't matter what company it is. So if you're like trying to avoid and trying to find a company that you won't get laid off, there is none. And any company can lay off anybody at any time. That actually happens. There is no guaranteed you have a job for 10 years because what if the business isn't here in 10 years? Okay. Now, let's talk about that. In teaching, you also can get your job cut at any time. The government is shut down right now. I think. I don't know. But government is shut down. People have jobs that were in cut. A lot of jobs have been cut. Jobs can be cut at any time. Okay. But budget cuts, I'm sure you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that has gotten cut from their job in their district. That happens. Budget cuts happen in education as well. And I want to remind y'all, some people don't know that, but people do get budget cuts in teaching. Okay. Can't control that. Okay. Another reason, and I'm just saying the top 3. I've seen people get laid off. I've seen it. Okay. And I'll tell y'all how I've been able to avoid it. Um, After budget, the other one is leadership clashes. So maybe someone on the team doesn't like someone else on the team. Leadership doesn't like someone on the team. Team members don't like some people on the team. It's like a culture fit, a culture misfit. That's another reason why people don't leave. So if you see people having like rifts and arguments or people don't like someone, that does happen. That's another reason why people are let go. Okay. Guess where else that happens? In the classroom. How many times have y'all, because even with teachers, like sometimes y'all don't like y'all admin. Y'all don't like y'all principals. And sometimes y'all principals and admin don't like you. Most likely way possible. Mhm. So it does happen. It does happen. So I just wanted to kind of paint those because I know that it can seem like corporate is a big bad wolf. And I go over a lot of this in my exit plan course, like really breaking all this down. But when it comes to corporate, what you're afraid of, those same things can happen right now in teaching. So I just want to paint that you're not any safer. You're just in a job that feels safe because it's comfortable and familiar to you. That's it. The only reason why it feels scary is because your brain doesn't know it. Your brain's going to fight you going like, if y'all think it's going to be easy breezy, beautiful to go into corporate, it's not. It's going to be challenging. If you listen to one of my podcast episodes where I talk about it, you're going to suffer, but you're going to be happy. So yeah, budget cuts and cultural misalignments. The last one of why people get laid off is performance. People not doing their jobs. Okay. People not doing their jobs. People are not doing their jobs with fidelity. So typically people usually avoid sales for this reason. They're like, oh, I don't want to do sales. What if I don't hit my quota? What do y'all think happens in customer success if you are not retaining your clients? So the sales team is doing all this work to bring in new business. And if you are, I'm not saying you're doing it, but like if your clients are not renewing, if they are not seeing value in it, you also can get cut, right? Now, again, I'm not saying this to scare you because when you are a great CSM and a great salesperson, as long just like teaching, because the equivalent to this, and I want y'all to know y'all have a quota on y'all back and y'all don't even know it as teachers. Your quota is getting students to proficiency on their state exam, getting students to move up their buckets. Whether you have a state exam, as a test exam, that is how schools are measured by student proficiency and student progress. That is literally how you all are measured. A lot of people's bonuses are tied to their student performance, right? Most teachers, the ones who make decent money, they have test scores that are higher. So that's another thing. If you are someone who has ever gotten a stipend for your test performance, and then you also, if you're someone who has been teaching for over 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, all the way. You have been able to prove yourself useful. Guess what you can do in corporate? The same thing. You, if you have been able to not get laid off, even if you have and you still find yourself a teaching job, the same thing happens in corporate. Okay. So the problem isn't that corporate has layoffs. I think the people think that the stability is external, meaning like they don't believe that the stability is within themselves. Okay. Um, but again, and I'll tell you about how I was able to survive these layoffs. And it's gonna be you're gonna be so surprised of how I survived them. But typically the reason why people don't survive, and what I mean surviving a layoff means like you got laid off and maybe you've seen them on LinkedIn, like, oh, I have been laid off and I haven't been able to get a job. 1,000 applications, 1,000 no's, 1,000 interviews that turned to second round interviews, that turned to third round interviews, and still no job offer. Again, y'all, I am animated. I am animated. I like to give that warning. I am not making fun of anybody. Okay. But typically, the people that you see on LinkedIn, 50% of them are not showing up with skills. They just have not had the skills of getting a job. When you focus on just getting another job and not preparing for a career change, you're the ones who are most likely to not survive the layoff. And really surviving a layoff to me is you getting laid off and not getting another job within 2 to 6 months. But even still, I feel like you can get laid off and take a year off and get another job. You don't have to do that, but like you can get a job fast, especially the roles that I help get into in my mentorship, ed tech sales and customer success. Because I talk about it with my old colleagues all the time, especially sales. People are afraid of sales, but sales, you can get hired right back. I have not seen from all the people that I've ever seen get laid off, sales, customer success, customer support, product support. And again, I've seen people get laid off for all three reasons: performance, culture clash, budget. They all have jobs. The only ones who don't have jobs are the ones who don't have the skills to get another job. Okay. So whenever you are someone who gets a referral, who knew someone, you're at that company, or maybe however you got yourself in a job, right? And maybe, because what happens is you either get yourself in a job and it's really great and you lucked out that you got a job, which is great, but then you never really had to retouch your resume. You never had to apply to 100 jobs. So you don't know how to get another job. Like, unless someone else handed you one. And that's what a lot of educators are wanting to happen on LinkedIn. They're like, can someone just hire me? Can someone let me know? This is another thing that I see a lot. And I'm here to educate, not to shame, but I see a lot of questions come up for teachers. They're like, oh, where should I apply? What jobs are hiring? Um, which companies are in urgent need of teachers? And I'm not laughing, but like people are asking these questions and it's okay to ask these, but none of the above. Okay. Everyone's hiring. Everyone's hiring all the time. Every company's hiring. Every company's hiring. Every company hires teacher. Everybody's hiring. There's no scarcity of jobs. The only scarcity is thinking that people are not being hired and people are not getting jobs. I saw someone comment on TikTok. Nobody's hiring. What did they say? Let me go to the comments. Let me pull up y'all's comments actually, so I can give y'all some live time feedback. Let me see. Let me go to the comments. Dun, dun, dun. But I know that the theme is you all really truly believe that there are no options. Let me go straight into here. Let's see. Nobody is hiring. How can I apply? I just graduated with a bachelor's in education. Um, Let me see. Let's see what else people are saying. Do you suggest getting another degree to go into ed tech? Um, Nobody is hiring or even scheduling interviews. Um, yeah, that's the main thing. So people are saying no one's hiring, and that's not true. So let's go down. So I'm gonna teach it, but I would just say the number one, all those things. I want y'all to know that it's just if you're asking those questions, it's okay. We just have to ask different questions. And I'm gonna give y'all the answer. Don't worry. It's not gatekeeping. But just to let you know, the people who are unemployed long term never really made this a career change. They just went and started getting a job. Okay. They got a job and they magically got a job, or they got a job and they winged it and they got it. And then they don't know how to interview. They don't know how to position their value. They don't know what roles they're qualified for. They never learned transferable skill language. They can't articulate their impact, or they depend on someone's referral. Okay. And again, if they were hired only from networking or knowing someone, then they don't have the skills to stand on their own. They don't understand business goals, and they can't compete when someone finally tests them, when they have to be in a running with someone else who's also been doing that job or who's ready. It's kind of like I've been in the ring fighting, ready. I've been practicing. Okay. But you just been there chilling. You've been chilling. Oh, I got hired. I don't need to do no resume. I don't need to practice no interview. I got a job. Oh, I got hired. I'm good. Yeah. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. Thank goodness I got hired. Thank goodness I got hired. But then when it's like layoff happens, then it's a freak out. And that person who's been going through, if you listen to my episode where I talk about my 10 no framework, I tell my clients expect 10 redirection emails, 5 no's in your interviews, and then you'll start getting yourself some real data. They are ready. They gonna come get that job because they know how to interview versus someone who hasn't. They have not built their safety in themselves. They build safety in external people. That's when people are expecting other people. And that's ultimately what happens with teachers wanting someone to save them. Okay. Now, the safety, if you want to leave education and be layoff proof, you want to build your safety in not just getting one job, but in knowing how to get a job again. Okay. So this is how I've been able to avoid layoffs. So every company I've worked for, they've had some layoffs. And again, if this is scaring you, this is not meant to scare you. I'm informing you. I feel like I would rather listen to someone who survived layoffs than for someone who hasn't. I'd rather someone tell me, yeah, no, the layoffs do happen, than for someone to gaslight me and say, oh no, layoffs don't happen. They do happen. Like, I want you to know that it does happen. But you can be layoff proof. You can be classroom option. You don't have to go back to the classroom. You can get laid off and still get a job. But again, you also can be layoff proof. And this is how I am layoff proof. I tell this story often, but my very first role, and I'm gonna give y'all tips of what you need to do. Okay. I'm gonna tell you what I did. I'm gonna teach what you need to do. So that way when you get hired, you know how to be layoff proof. Okay. So the very first thing, step number one, learn your new career. Learn your new career. I have a podcast episode called Applying for Jobs versus Making a Career Change. If you really want to make this a career change where you don't end up back in that classroom, act like you're going into a new career because you are. Okay. When I started my first corporate job, I was a sponge. So, step one to be layoff proof, learn your new career, not just a job. Be a sponge, shadow. I shadowed everyone. I said, I want to be on your calls. 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 Everybody's calls, I want to be on. I want to be on everybody's calls. Okay. I was shadowing my manager and I asked my manager to mentor me. I said, hey, I want to learn everything there is to need to know about sales. Okay. Everything there needs to know about sales. Even though I had learned to articulate my skills to get the job, I still wanted to be a sponge. Even though I knew how to do the job a little bit, I just knew how to sell my skills. The one who gets a job is not the one who's the most qualified. It's the one who can sell their skills the most. But the one who can sell their skills the most gets a job, but if you still have to learn how to do it. So I was smart. I was okay. I know I was able to get there. And again, I believe in myself. I am not a scam. I knew how to do that job. Okay. I knew how to sell my skills. And if I can sell skills, I can sell a product. And I sold products before. Okay. I had retail experience. I had corporate. Well, I had worked in the retail position, so I knew what selling was, and I knew that, and I knew enough to get that job. But I also knew enough to keep this job. I'm about to learn this job in and out. So learn a new career. Even so, if you already have your job, you should be a professional on your job. Okay. I learned everything. I would say, especially for my clients listening who you have your job, and I already go over this with you, but like, go learn everyone's job. Okay. One of the biggest things that I've been seeing, you all know I'm in acting. Acting is my next career and my career that I'm doing right now. A lot of actors start off as actors, or I know Tiffany Haddish said that she wanted to be in entertainment. So she learned the gaffing, she learned sound, she learned all the different roles. Like, there are so many other roles other than acting. And I'm already like, listen, I'm already saying, you know what? I could direct a movie. I could write me a little script. I'm not planning to go into acting just with my acting bag. And I studied the greats. Okay. I see that a lot of actors are now directing, producing. Like, I read the credits. I'm like, oh, they're producing. I looked up, what does producer do? What is a director? I'm already learned. Listen, this is how I know I am successful, because I don't just have one basket to land. Again, also for acting, I hired a coach. Okay. And I know y'all, I don't know what y'all say about me on the internet, but she love hiring people and do, because I love to work. I love money. I don't know if I love working. Well, actually, I do love the work. I love money. I love doing whatever I want to do. So I'm going to learn what I need to do to stay employed. Okay. That first company, they were doing layoffs, and guess who they did not lay off? They were actually training me. They're like, hey, we actually just let some of this team go. We're going to be training you for this role. Okay. And the funny part is, so number one, learn your new career. That's it. Learn all the jobs. Learn the marketing, sales, all of them. Okay. And then, like, make yourself useful. Like, contribute to the meeting. So I didn't just show up and just be a sponge and just be self-serving. I asked questions. I said, "Oh, I love how you were closing those sales. What's your biggest motivation? Like, what's your biggest strategy?" And then I also just learned their strategy from observing. Like, I just observed a lot. I asked questions. I asked how they got into sales. I genuinely started interviewing everyone, but it wasn't self-serving. I was helping. I said, "Hey, have you tried this?" Because some of them weren't teachers. So I said, "Hey, have you tried?" I was genuinely contributing. That's another thing. A lot of the poor teacher mindset, POUR, I'm not calling none of y'all poor, but a poor teacher mindset is, oh, everything's self-serving. Oh, I'm gonna learn all these jobs and I'm gonna, but no, like the also I gave back. I learned and absorbed, but I also gave back. I contributed to the meetings. So much so that, because again, this same company, they were doing layoffs. And I asked, I was like, "Hey, I'd love to be able to partner up with learning and development." And I was partnering up with learning and development. And it was funny because the same week where they had me doing these additional trainings to learn the learning and development, they had did some layoffs already, but I smelled them. First off, you're gonna smell the layoffs. I had someone tell me, they're like, "Oh, I'm really nervous." This is someone I used to know. They're like, "I'm really, really nervous. I don't know if I'm gonna have my job in 3 months. They keep announcing layoffs. I don't know if I'm gonna survive." This is my thought philosophy. I knew that people were getting laid off because you can just see it. Like they either will announce it, they will say, "Hey, this company is about to go through some budget," but they will announce it. Or you can see when I start seeing some people disappear, like if I start seeing in the all hands meeting, that's what they call it, the all hands meeting. And I think I'm going to start going into some corporate things. I have a lot of teachers who are now on the other side. So I got to talk corporate, but there's something called an all hands meeting in corporate, in your business, in your corporate jobs. And they'll announce a departure. So it's low key it's a business meeting essentially with all the employees that they report on all the new clients coming in, clients losing, retention, sales. They report all that. Especially in ed tech companies, they report all that I think at least once a month they do the business report, but they also report on, "Hey, we're saying goodbye to this person." And of course, they'll have a nice little HR response. "Hey, we and so is parting ways with the company." When I see one, two, that's enough for me. That's enough. Apply, 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 apply. And in fact, my very first job, I didn't stop applying. My first job, I was only in that job for 4 months until I got my next one. And by the time I was on that call with the learning and development, I already put in my 2 weeks. They were like, "Oh, we were wondering when you're gonna say you're," because like the learning and development, I guess I didn't even know the company told all my business. Okay. They were like, because whenever you play your, just like teaching, as soon as you put your 2 weeks notice in, they're trying to find somebody else, trying to figure out what they're gonna do. So again, if you haven't listened to my episodes about that, you all are not as safe as you think. And like a sidebar, contracts. A lot of y'all think, "Oh, I have a contract. It's going to be there for the year." Y'all, that contract is for them, not for you. The contract is to make sure they have a teacher in that classroom the whole year. That's the gag. The gag is, yeah, you have a job and you have to stay here for the whole year, or we take your certification, we take your money. Okay, you're not as safe as you think. Okay, I'm not saying that you are unsafe. I just want to give you all the information, but either way, they let them know, and then I went through that whole training. I was like, "Ooh," taking notes. I was like, "Yeah, I love this. I love this." I was absorbing because listen, even though I wasn't gonna work there, I could take this knowledge to my new job. I am taking this knowledge with me, and I was contributing. I was like, "Hey, have you thought about this?" Like I don't do anything self-serving, and I think rich teacher mindset is knowing that you should not be self-serving anything. Like even though you need a job bad tomorrow, you're not gonna get a job by being self-serving. You have to serve others. You have to serve others. That is how you make money. Okay. And then she's like, "Oh, I was wondering when you were gonna say that you let go, you were leaving." I was like, "Yeah, didn't want to let people know until I had to, but I've enjoyed this training." Okay. But when they announce the second person, when they start doing layoffs, when they start, I say two. You got two people to go, and I'm not gonna find out a third. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, get another job. And it doesn't happen often. And again, I would say if they weren't getting rid of me, you want to know why they weren't getting rid of me? Because, and I tell the story a lot, they had hired other teachers, and they are beautiful. Like this is not even a shade to any of them. But this was in 2022. when people were actively hiring teachers, and I'll let y'all know in a loving way, there is not a bad taste, but people do have questions about teachers, the ones who come in as classroom teachers, the ones who only talk about being a teacher. I'm passionate about students. I'm passionate about them. I'm so passionate about them. Hire me. I'm passionate about them. I'm passionate about this company. Passionate. Be passionate about bringing in this money. Be passionate about your retention rate. Be passionate about. So that's what I'm saying. So learn your career. Don't be self-serving. Serve others. But yeah, they all for those other teachers, while they were saying, "Yeah, give me my little notebook. I'm enjoying creating little," they weren't doing this, but people, I see this all the time. They're creating content. Oh, look at me. I'm a transition teacher, and then not doing their job. Meanwhile, here I am I was on their managers' calls. They weren't even doing what I was doing until they saw me doing it. And I said, hey, y'all should. And the thing is, I said, hey, I didn't even keep that a secret. I said, hey, y'all, go shadow the people. Okay. But what happened is one of the salespeople, he was going, I hadn't even shadowed him because salespeople are also salespeople are self-serving. So they are. Sales typically, not typical, but the male salespeople. That's why I work with women because I need more women up in these sales companies, first of all. Okay, we need more women. Okay. But most salesmen, especially the men, are very self-serving. Like I think I've mentioned this before. I had got on a sales team. I had asked the sales guy because again, just because I go and ask doesn't mean they're going to give it to me. But I had asked one of the top performers. So I love to ask the top performer what they doing. That's what I study the greats. If anything, write that down. Study the greats. And his advice, I kid you not, he's like, "Yep, I have my numbers and I just hit them. I have my numbers and I just hit them. Yep, that's what I do. Yep, I just hit my numbers." So thanks. Thanks, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for that advice. Oh my gosh, thank you. That's what the advice he gave me. Also, that same person, when I was a CSM going to the sales team, there was a superintendent or director, et cetera, that enjoyed me as in that role so much that they wanted to bring in the company to their new district. And that person tried to get away with like I had to remind the person, hey, I helped you bring this. Where my money at? And I got my money. But all I have to say is I had another salesperson who I never worked with because he didn't want anybody shadowing his calls. He asked for me because I was an SDR, sales development representative. He asked for me personally. He's like, hey, I want that one. I want her to be on my calls. And then he started asking me questions. He's like, hey, so what do you currently do? Well, how do you close these sales? I'm like, oh, not you trying to learn from me. Not you trying to learn from the great me. But I was valuable. I made myself valuable in my company. So of course they weren't like getting rid of me. Now, I wasn't acting all big and bad. Like, even though I survived the layoffs, like, I still got me another job. Cause I'm like, y'all not about to tell me, y'all are not about to sit here and I'm not about to let y'all lay me off. I'm about to go get me another job. Okay. So absorb and learn your new career. Do not just get comfy and be in your new job. And like, you need to be an expert. Okay. Step 2, start planning your promotion at month 3. I would say month 2, 3. You should have your resume updated and applying for jobs. You don't actually have to move. But I do have people who say, oh, I want to get comfortable in my job. Stop getting comfortable in these jobs. Get comfortable in your ability to get another job offer. Stop getting comfortable in these jobs because y'all default is to be comfortable. Y'all are already comfortable. If you are a veteran teacher, you are comfortable. You already know what to expect. It's kind of like it's better to know the devil that you know than the devil you don't know, however that phrase is. But y'all still dancing with the devil. Y'all don't like y'all job. Y'all don't like it. Okay. So, and I always ask, how is that serving you to stay in a job that's not serving you? How is that serving you? It is serving some type of purpose. And that purpose could be, oh, I feel comfortable. But comfortable is not a 6-figure people don't get comfortable in one company. They get comfortable in their skills. Like, the rich teacher mindset, the rich transition teacher who is layoff proof and classroom optional and surviving these layoffs is a master of their skills and their new role. All of my CSM friends, when I was a CSM, were all getting certifications. They were all already employed. Okay. Meanwhile, other people, oh no, I'm not. Because some teachers are afraid to use that PD money. Oh, I'm afraid to use it. Girl, y'all afraid of money? That's what I say. Y'all afraid of money? And I'm joking, but like they're over here running circles and getting certifications and letting everybody know and doing all that. But start planning your promotion at month 3, whether it's going to be in your position or another company. Okay. Start asking your manager, hey, I'd love to be able to contribute to the team. I'd love to be able to add in leadership. What skills can I do? Like you can ask them, but also get in yourself. Like I want you to normalize not putting your safety in somebody else. Like don't put your safety in the company. Don't put the safety in your manager. Don't put the safety in your job. Cause even though there are some jobs like my role as a CSM, like I feel like I had a good groove going. I say, "Oh, they're not gonna let go of me." But also, I am not someone who's gonna. Any words I say. I want to be able to eat my words. So like, if I say that, I also want to be able to say, "Okay, but I can land on my feet." Like both. Like yeah, they of course it would be actually not that great for them to let go of me. However, I also am prepared just in case they do. Okay, but you should be planning your promotion at month 3. If you're not, and again, especially if you're not making $100,000, if you're not making $100,000, you should not be in that role without a discussion or a clear step of what your promotion will be. Okay. You need to begin positioning yourself before you need it. Okay. So again, even though I survived my layoff, I said, toodaloo, have a new job. Okay. So plan your promotion. Is it going to be internal? Is it going to be external? If you're doing customer success, again, whatever roles, I'm just referring to those two just because that's my bread and butter in my mentorship program. But if you're going to do it to do customer success, or maybe you're doing sales, maybe if you're doing sales, do I want to go into CSM? Or maybe if you're doing customer success, do you want to be a enterprise CSM? Do you want to be a people leader, or do you want to be a task leader? Because there's so many roles, but you're going to learn that in your new job. You want to absorb and learn all the different ways that you can go. Like a part of the step 1 of learning your career, start learning what your options are, and then plan. And step 2, what is your action? Like actually put it on your calendar. Do that, and the goal is to not ever. Some people are waiting to need to get a job. Like you want to wait until you have to. Like some of y'all, oh, I'm only motivated when I have to. Because you're addicted to chaos. You're addicted to chaos. Why do you want to have a chaotic life? And the thing is, a lot of teachers live in chaos. So you're probably used to it, but you don't have to live in chaos. Start planning your promotion at month 3. I don't care what you gotta say about nothing. Plan, and a lot of my clients fight me on this, but they learning. They learning. Um, so then step 3, lock in on your performance. Lock in. Okay. And when I mean lock in on your performance, don't just after you've absorbed, because after a while, people are gonna be like, okay, girl, produce your work. Where's that game that you was selling hot in that interview? Where's that? Okay. That implementation plan that you was talking cash money that you know how to do. You say, okay, you give me a chance. I'm a teacher. Give me a chance. Show them what you can do. Like lock in. And the way you can do that is again, like learning the world, absorbing the role. You can get additional certifications, especially if the company is paying for PD. Most companies will pay for PD. Okay. I have clients who are, because I have a program membership for clients when they get their job. They are still able to work with me and get help on their actual job still, and their jobs pay for it. Their jobs pay for it. Okay. Because it's professional development. But like literally learn your job and do your job really well. Like just lock in. Like my customer success, I had 95, I think it was higher than that retention rate. And I had some challenging districts. When they gave me my CSM job, y'all, they gave me all of the runts. They gave me, and it's only, well, you will only understand this if you know customer success, but just imagine you being a teacher and they gave you all baby's kids. They gave you every single kid. That's what they gave me when I got my CSM role. So I had to learn quickly. I said, okay, all those imaginary scenarios of what are you going to do if a client is not responding, I had to act on it. I had to literally dive in and do my job and get these people to respond back to me who have never talked to me ever before. Okay. But I was able to get them. I was able to get them. Okay. Because you don't got me. I was able to do it. So much so that a lot of those processes, that's how I have my VP job now, because I turned my lemon into lemonade. I'm okay, y'all gave me these lemons. Y'all think y'all slick, but guess who's slicker? Okay, I know how to do this job. Okay, period. Okay, but anyway, I was able to learn so much from that, and Another thing that I had to also start doing, because this is also the high achiever woman who wants to be independent and everything. I was doing this stuff, and even though my numbers were speaking for myself, I was not talking enough about my achievements to my team and in the Slack channel. So imagine, and some of y'all have this at your schools, but imagine like a group chat for your company where you post your wins, they post all different things. I wasn't documenting my wins enough, and I started doing it. I locked in after a while, but I started documenting my wins. I started tracking my metrics, everything. Like I started talking on our team meetings. I started saying, "Hey, y'all, I just want to share that I had a client that hadn't responded back to me for a month, and now they are renewing and they're upselling. I upsold them into a package. Clock that. What y'all doing? Okay, what y'all doing?" And I didn't say what y'all doing, but I started doing that. I started to just document my win. So then that way people were seeing me. I even had another situation where one of my districts, they did an ROI presentation, which basically talks about being able to, they used our platform and they literally got like they were making money. Like they literally have an ROI on their platform. I invited everyone. I said, um, "Hey, Miss Manager, I just wanted to let you know that one of my clients did an ROI presentation, and I wanted to know if I asked the person. I said, "Hey, can I bring my team?" I brought everybody. I didn't just bring my team. I brought my team. I brought the sales team. I brought the CEO. I brought the VP of sales. I brought the VP of customer success. I'm like, y'all about to come to this party. Okay? Y'all about to see what I did. So literally all that meant is like they were able to demonstrate how and then again, they paid about minimum, like it was a 5-figure deal, 10-figure deal. I don't know. It was like plus 50K plus 50 or 100. It was more than that actually. I don't remember. Because the thing is, I didn't even, the way that I managed my book of business, even though I had a mixture of mid-market and enterprise accounts, I treated everybody the same. Everybody got red glove service. So I wasn't worried about anything. I was just focused on getting these people using this product. Okay, that's what I was doing. I was introducing myself to transportation, enrollment. Everybody who can use this product, y'all need this product. That's how I was able to do really well. I just locked in on doing my job. That I didn't even realize I was over here doing an amazing job. But they literally proved that their investment, their 6-figure investment was worth it. And the person who was able to help them get this ROI, yours truly, me. So I said, y'all about to hear about this. Y'all about to hear about this sandwich. I don't know if y'all watch SpongeBob. You got to try this sandwich. Y'all about to try this sandwich. That is me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I did that. So I did that and I was able to, again, people saw me in my light. So then they're like, oh, that's when they started tapping me on the shoulder, like, hey, you want to come do sales? And I did once I found out how much money they was making. And once I saw that people were getting deals because of me. Okay. But you want to document all that stuff and then standardize your processes. So like all those clients that I had that were not responding, I documented those processes and they became playbooks for the company. I even said, hey, everyone does not have a success plan. Why doesn't everyone have one? Standardized. Okay. I literally brought improvement ideas. I started sharing my ideas. I started sharing exactly how I've been able to get reluctant people, literally. Okay. So I made myself valuable and I continue to make myself valuable. Okay. Step 4. We use this term in sales. It's called always be prospecting. So my sales clients know what I'm talking about. But prospecting is finding the right person with the right problem and always talking to new people because sales, you have to hit a number. And my strategy for always hitting my quota in sales is times 3. If my quota is $100,000, for example, I'm talking to $300,000 worth of people because minimum 1/3 of your sales pipeline closes. Then once I get times 3, I am converting at a higher rate. And again, if this sounds very jargony where you're like, I don't know what she's talking about, that's how much I want you to be in depth with your new career. And it's not hard. I want to remind y'all do harder things in your classroom. Okay. But step 4, always be applying. Okay. Always be applying, not out of fear, out of skill building. I don't call interview practice, but I want you to have field experience talking about your skills because it's one thing for you to get your job, your company saw your skills, but you have to be able to articulate your skills to any company, to anybody who asks you. Okay. Also market awareness. See what the market is. See if people are getting paid more. That's when I hired my career coach. I was like, okay, no, I want to make 100K plus as a CSM. I don't want to do, cause I went back and forth for sales and customer success, but I just wanted to change. I had been at that company for a while. I wanted to change. And I was, again, I had a great thing going at my company, but I wanted to do something different. Sometimes people think that you have to leave for a bad reason. Two people always think it's a bad reason. Like, oh, why are you leaving? What's happening? Like the girls, hey girl, why you quit? What happened? Oh, what happened? Did she get fired? It's always people love to talk about people. I'm like, no, I want something different. Like that's literally it. I wanted something different. I didn't like it. Okay, I don't want to do no more. I want to do something different. Okay. I want to do something different. And I was like, okay, I want to get paid more. I want to get paid more. Right. And I'm tired of doing the same. I want to do something different. And I got my career coach and I learned about my market awareness. I learned about how much money I could be making. And I ended up girl bossing into a VP customer success role. Fun fact, I was applying for CSM roles again. And the one of the last two offers I did not receive, one of them was we think you're gonna leave. Two, we're hiring for a leadership position. Can you interview next month? What was the other one? I think that was it. The other one turned into my job. Like, I'm glad those didn't happen because then like, hey, we have a job, it's not full time. I was like, this is perfect. I want to do my business full time anyway. So and again, I did a lot of that work. So I'll say, like, I've always been applying. And when you want to practice when you don't need the reps, it's kind of like going to the gym and staying fit. You don't want to wait till you gain 50 pounds to want to go to the gym. Like the goal is to lose your 50 pounds and work on that and build momentum and keep applying. Okay. Not when you're panicking. Not when you're panicking. Okay. Um, Side note, did you all know there's 3 ways to work with me? 3 ways to work with me. One, free content, listening to this podcast, my YouTube. I post weekly podcasts and I am posting transition teacher vlogs. I'm on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get on Instagram eventually. I need 1,000 followers on Instagram. So can y'all go follow me on Instagram so I can go live on Instagram? But I go live every Tuesday on LinkedIn and TikTok. So if you want to work with me for free, do that. I have another offer, my exit plan course. So if you are someone this is brand new, maybe this is your first episode, maybe this is your third, fourth, fifth, 15th, and you want to work with me and you have been a little sticker shock at my mentorship and you want to get a little taste of what it's like to work with me and create your exit plan, make sure you join my wait list. It's either wait list if you're listening to this live or you are going to join my course. But if you're listening to this live, you want to ensure that you are going to sign up before December 28th. So doors open, enrollment opens December 14th. When you enroll by the 28th or when spots are claimed, you will get a free Fix My Resume review. So you will actually be able to fix your resume with me and you'll be able to get 2 live group coaching calls with me. Okay. The only way to get coaching with me and the only other way to get your resume reviewed is in my mentorship. Okay. So make sure you are on the waitlist for my exit plan course. It is the first iteration of the program that I opened last year. It is tried, true, tested from people. It's not no low course from the internet. Okay. The second way to work with me is in my mentorship. So people are already asking what's the difference. If you know for sure you want to go into ed tech, customer success, or sales, and you know for sure you want to have one-on-one mentorship, mock interviewing, done for you resume, done for you LinkedIn, done for you interview prep of exactly what you need to expect. Like, you will have all your questions answered in live time, like meeting with me one-on-one for 6 months, and you want a job offer in less than 6 months. That's the program ready to go. But it doesn't hurt if you want to start your exit plan and see where it goes, how it is. Okay, maybe I like it, I know, but it really does give you the option. So none of them are consolation price. They're both equally valuable. Okay. My coach is actually asking me why am I keeping the price so low for the course. I'm like, listen, I just want more people learning their options. Okay. So get it while it's hot. And I'm only doing that free Fix My Resume review until December 28th. So make sure you're on that. But all right, so let's move forward. So let's talk about the what about. So again, if you are afraid of getting laid off, all we're going to do, babes, and I mean, it's the most loving way, we're just going to learn our skills to get another job. Okay. And if you're like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with that, whatever you're willing to practice, you will perfect. If you're not willing to practice, then you just choose the problems that come with it. So you always have the choice of staying in the classroom. You also do have that choice, but I don't really like one of my coaches tells me, like, if you're tired, go take a nap. She's like, don't go around saying you're tired, tired, tired. So, but again, I know teachers love to complain about their jobs. That's what we like to do. I did it. But use your skills to get another one. Become layoff proof by knowing how to get another job. Okay. What if the market is slow? No one's hiring? That's not true. The only people who are not getting hired are the ones who don't have the skills to interview and the skills to get an interview, the interview and to interview. Again, when you get my exit plan course, you get to align your resume to 5 different career paths. I'm going to tell you to pick one, but you're going to align it to one career path and you're going to learn how to get interviews. Okay, and sell your skills. But what about corporate with it? I heard it's not stable. Neither is education. Okay. Budget cuts have been happening since I started. There's always been budget cuts. Okay. There's always been budget cuts. But what about networking? I see people on LinkedIn who network, they got them a job. They did. And they can. But what happens when nobody can save you? What happens when you don't have no more lives? No more people to call. And then you can call, you can absolutely network. But then let's say you network into a job, because I have some people who are working at customer success, they're not working in uh ed tech. So, but another thing is with my clients, so with ed tech, customer success and sales are also not just in ed tech. So my clients can go get a job. My clients leave saying that they know how to get any job now. Like that you all have just never been taught how to get a job. And that's really what both these options give you. Okay. But when it comes to networking, you cannot out network if you don't know how to do the job. So if you can network and sure, network, but you still have to do the job. I've seen people, oh yeah, I love when people take their time to get to know me online. It's so nice for them to even consider me. That's a validation in a recruiter. That's validation to somebody else. Validate yourself. I can talk to people, but I also know my stuff. Like, and again, I am saying this, but I want to all, I say it with love. Okay. Networking works, but you want to be able to know what you can do when there's no one to vouch for you. I vouch for myself. Okay. I see a lot of career coaches talk about like cold applying is really hard. People get hired more with warm. A lot of my clients get hired cold. Okay. They don't know not one lick of soul in that company because they know how to sell their skills. Okay. And they know how to network. I have clients who are networking and they have the skills. Okay. That's why they get jobs faster. It's not a luck thing. But layoffs feel scary. Okay. It does feel scary. And I'm not telling you to ignore that feeling. Like feel the feeling. It is scary, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Like keeping that fear is a choice. And also staying scared is a choice. You don't have to stay scared. You can just get ready. Or you can drive the car while crying. Okay. You can drive the car while crying. All right. So let's close out with some core beliefs. I want you all to know that you are able to build your stability through your skills. Okay. Not through a company. You are able to learn the skills. You are able to be stable and build stability in your skills, not through one company. That's why I always tell people if someone's like, oh, what company should I apply for? What companies are hiring? No, be good at a career path and then you can go talk to any company. But whenever you focus your hearts on one company, what happens if that company's not hiring? Or what happens if that company is doing layoffs? Then what? Okay, you can go get another job down the street. Okay? Instead of you falling in love with your dream company, oh, I love this company so much. I love it. I love it. Do they love you back? Okay. They'll love you if you bring in money and help and retain their business. Okay. I want you to believe that you are employable because you know how to articulate your value. I know how to articulate my value. Okay. I know how to build stability in my skills. And I want you to say these to yourself. I don't know if I released this episode yet, but my client Jada, I loved so what she did, she had created her own affirmations and I was like, I love it. She had a playlist of songs. Every morning she woke up, I love my job, I love my life, I love working remote, I love it. And some people will call it crazy, but the people who are calling it crazy, they just don't believe. That's it. You just don't believe it. And it's okay. Build the belief. You can build belief. But she gave herself affirmations. She affirmed herself into a job. They created a job for her. They created a job for her because and I feel that's so beautiful. Like she proclaimed it out loud every day and believed it. She truly believed it. Like the fact that she said, and this is who only was in a classroom for 5 years. So my veteran teachers, I'm not here to shame y'all, but like we have teachers who are running circles on y'all. Okay. So and if it's okay for them to do it, how much like you all have a lot more experience that you can speak to. So I don't say it to shame you. I say it to like you have the ability to do this. Okay. But she had gotten to a point where because she had started with me in February, and she was waiting to hear back from a job again. But I tell them never wait, keep applying. But she had got to a point where she wanted to come back, and she didn't want to come back in August, but she ended up having to come back in August, right? She had to come back in August, but she had got to a point where she's like, you know what? I don't care if I have to teach a year. I don't care if I have to teach this whole year. I know that I'm not staying here. I know I'm not going to year 10. I'm doing everything. I don't want to even have to say that I didn't give it my all. She's like, I'm giving it my all. I'm giving it my whole all. I'm getting a job. And I love that. And she is absolutely layoff proof because she knows how to get, she even said it. She's like, I know how to get another job. I know how to get one. And she's already networking. She's already doing exactly, I didn't have to tell her. She's like already talking to people in her company. She's already doing it. She's six figure earner, y'all. Y'all, listen. And she didn't even turn 30 yet. Okay. I wish if I had this when I was, before I was 30, and I call her a baby. She's not a baby teacher, but people, the veteran teachers call people who've only taught for 3 to 5 years babies. But guess what? These babies making money. These babies making money. Veteran teachers aren't even making that much. Okay. But again, not to shame. I'm just telling y'all right now, if you are someone who thinks that it's not possible for you, that's a choice. It's a choice to not believe in yourself. And I mean that with most loving way possible. It's a poor teacher mindset. Rich teacher mindset, anything like that. And you have to build the belief. I understand that it is unfathomable that teachers are making money, but let me be proof. Let all my clients, I have a whole on my podcast listening guide. I was like, wow, I interviewed these many people. I have so many other people who are on the docket to be interviewed. Okay. It is possible for you to make more money as a teacher. Okay. And you can be layoff proof if you know how to get job offers. And you can learn that even if you don't know how to do it. Is it scary? Yes. Will you drive the car while crying? Yes. Will you suffer? Yes. Will you be happy about it? Yes. Okay. But I want you to know y'all are not fragile. You are capable. You do harder things in your classroom. And if you have been employed for a long time in teaching, you have survived every budget cut. And I want you to tell yourself that you can survive in corporate too. You can. Okay. You can learn your career, any career that you decide to learn. Just like you learn teaching, you can learn another career. Is it going to feel like work? Yeah. But I want you to trust yourself that you're able to learn it. I want you to trust yourself more than you trust the market. Okay. I want you to believe stories that are true. What do you want to believe? You can sit here and believe that no one's hiring and no one's getting interviews. And guess what? You're not, when people tell me that, they're not hiring. I mean, I tell them no, that is not true. But if someone's like, yeah, but I just don't believe I'm going to get hired, well, guess what, baby? You probably won't. And most loving way, because you believe that. The universe hears you. And whatever people say about it, the universe loves me. I've been seeing so many synchronicities with the universe. Like I'm not gonna just go over all the different things, but just I have seen the universe and the universe sees me. And I am also really happy with my life right now. And I still got problems. I got bills. I got all the things. I have a lot of things happening, but I decide to be happy anyway. And I want y'all to know that's always available to you. It's always available for you to choose happiness. Okay. You're always able to become more skilled, more valuable, and more confident. Okay. So I hope that this helped answer the questions about the budget cuts, being laid off, about the government shutdown. Again, if you want my philosophy on it, what anyone tells me that they've been laid off for a long time in the loving way possible, it is a choice. I don't care what no one tells me. I'm not buying your story. I'm not buying it. No, thank you. Even if it's free, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying your story. And you don't have to subscribe to that story either. You can, and if this has been you, just rewrite another story. That's what I have my clients do. I have them write a letter from their future selves in their new job. And I don't want a little fake positivity one. And then I have them revise it as they go along. Like a lot of my clients, especially when you get to those interviews, you let them take them out, write out how you were able to overcome your interview. Some things that my clients are going through right now. A lot of them, some of them don't believe that they're able to get a job. They don't believe it. They are letting redirection emails take them out. They are not, they didn't know how much work interviewing would be. They are getting final round interviews and then not getting a job. They are getting jobs and then freaking out in their new job. Okay. Imagine doing that by yourself though. Imagine if they were doing that by themselves. I know a lot of y'all are doing it by yourself. It's that hyper independence. You don't have to do it by yourself. Okay. And if this episode hit home for you, Make sure again, y'all hang out with me on live in my email series. I'll be dropping lots of free tips in my emails. Okay. Um, I am going to help you build the skills, the mindset, and the strategies to become fully employable in any market. I don't care what the job market say. I don't care what the economy is. I don't care what about them government shutdowns. If you're serious about leaving education and building a career where you feel safe, secure, paid, pretty, rich, taking trips. I have clients who are going to Japan, Thailand. Where else people are going? I forgot. They go on places. So while other people are on LinkedIn saying that the job market's hard and no one's hiring teachers, I have teachers who are going to Thailand for a week for their birthday. Having the time, one of my clients said she's like, I in teaching, I didn't even have that ability to take. She got only had 2 personal days, and here I am taking a whole week off, and I still have time left over, and I'm able to afford this trip. Okay, this is beyond just like this is beyond. I want y'all to know the infinite game. What are you doing this for? That's why that letter from the future self is so important. What are you doing this for? And make it fun. Okay, make it fun. We are expecting challengeless journeys, but we will have challenges. How are you going to overcome every single challenge that comes your way? How are you going to overcome them? How are you going to feel your feelings through them? That's why I have all my clients get in therapy. It's going to really require emotional regulation, being able to regulate your emotions in this process. And again, a lot of y'all have just never had to do this before, so it does feel scary, but you want to do it scared. Okay. And again, the exit plan course is a great place to start. That listening to this podcast is a great start. Thinking about it is a great start. But if you're ready to take it to action, create your exit plan to implement it anytime you can. Exit plan the exit plan, the exit plan course. That used to be the name of my podcast. And if you want mentorship into your new 6-figure career and beyond, that's what my program is. But either way, however you get your support, I just want you to get support. I want you to heal your hyper independence. And I want you to remember that no one's coming to save you, but you can save yourself. That's always available for you. Be nice to yourself in this journey. Love yourself in this journey. Love yourself through this journey. Because I want you to look back. What do I want to be able to say about my journey? Do I want to talk about me struggling? Or do I want to talk about me, still being the best version of myself every day? I gave my best version. I took breaks when I needed to. Like, what do you want your story to say? Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you all in the next podcast. Bye.